Hi, Dr. Paul Haider here. You know, in a lot of places like California, spring is starting to take place. You know, the buds are coming out and people are seeing the trees starting to get new leaves and the flowers are starting to bloom. And it's a little early, but that's just the way nature is. Sometimes it's early, sometimes it's late. And we have beautiful flowers that come into our life. We have beautiful things come into our life. Things like a birth of a child and the wedding of a couple that we know, the coming together of friends. And we also have different things that come into our lives, like the loss of a loved one, either by divorce or, they die, or something else that happens in some way. Even with our animals, we have our dog Jojo, and he's pretty old now. And on Christmas Day, he wasn't doing well, and we ended up being in the emergency vets for on Christmas Day. And amazingly, after praying for a long time, he pulled through, and he's still with us. But I know that Jojo will, not go on forever, and none of us go on forever. And the same goes for, life in general. And the same also goes for, hearing praise, oh, this is great that you're doing, or hearing, criticism, that's terrible. It's important that we not allow a lot of this to overcome us, and that's where meditation really comes in. Instead of having these super highs and super lows and super highs and super lows all the time, we get to a point where we, it's just a steadiness. Like we get to understand the Tao, and we understand there's, 10,000 things. Some of them we deem as good, some of them we deem as bad, and it's all about, duality that we create within ourselves. This is good, this is bad. But when we can just sit back and say, this happened, and it's okay. It's alright that I accept what is. And then there's not that huge conflict that happens inside of us. We accept things more instead of fighting it all. And then there's a great peace that settles in. And that's really what we want. Anytime anything changes, we have this unsettled feeling that happens, and we're not happy, and everything goes haywire inside for a little while. And then it becomes the norm, and then we're happy again. And then all of a sudden, something else comes along, and that's not the norm, and all of a sudden everything's haywire again. And then we go back to being happy because that becomes the norm. So we go through these cycles of everything. But we can get rid of all that, haywire stuff if we just allow ourselves to accept what is as is. That would take away all the anxiety, take away all the feelings of stress, take away all the feelings of lack, because it is as it is. And that takes going inside. I know a man who just lost the love of his life, and it's not easy. I'm sure every one of us has been through that type of situation, one time or another. And what do you say? And every one of these things makes us stronger. They make us be able to get through to the next thing. And we can have sympathy and empathy for that person, but we know they have to go through it by themselves. We can be there for them. They can, be there to talk to. But we know that their path has a certain little bumps along the way that they will have to deal with. And everything is important for our growth. You know, it's a very big world, and we have a lot of different things that we have to go through. And every one of them makes us get to a certain point in life where we grow. You know, I had a student the other day who, you know, after 10 years, he said, well, I'm done with all this. I've gotten through it all now. I mean, there's all the stuff I had inside, all the baggage is done. And I just smiled. And then something else happened, and all of a sudden, and one thing I said was, you know, this is hard, but I know in the end you will grow with this, and it's all good. And he will look back on this in 10 years and go, wow, that was hard, but it was good. And it's never easy when we have something big happen in our lives. But as the flowers come, and as the snows come, we have to allow ourselves to be in the middle. Be the peace that settles in the middle of all things. I love you.